Welcome to the next video in the Search for a Better Health topic. This video will be looking at syllabus.9.4.62, identify causes of non-infectious diseases using an example from each of the following categories, being inherited diseases, nutritional deficiencies, and environmental diseases. So throughout the topic, we've already looked at infectious diseases. So remember that infectious diseases are those that are caused by a pathogen and are able to be passed from one person to another in a range of different ways. So pathogens include bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, and prions. So we've talked a lot about these up until now, but now we're going to shift our focus and have a look at non-infectious diseases. So non-infectious diseases are those that are not caused by a pathogen. They sometimes referred to as being not contagious, and they cannot be passed from one person or animal to another. We've got an asterisk there, however, because we do have inherited diseases, which obviously can be passed from one generation to the next. So the causes of non-infectious diseases include the malfunction of physiology, so breakdowns in the way that the body works, malfunctions to metabolism or the structures of the body. Some examples of non-infectious diseases include cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, but we're going to have a look a little bit more detail at a few. So there are three different categories of non-infectious diseases as mentioned by the syllabus dot point. We need to be able to have an understanding of each of those as well as some diseases that fall under each. So the three categories, as we've mentioned, are inherited diseases, environmental diseases, and nutritional diseases caused by nutritional deficiencies. So let's start off by looking at our inherited diseases. So these are those that are due to genetic defects and are passed from one generation to the next. So some of these, such as Down syndrome, are the result of a change in the number of chromosomes. So Down syndrome individuals have an extra chromosome 21 in the nucleus of their cells, which is due to the process of meiosis not working properly when the sperm and the egg cells were created, so the chromosomes didn't split perfectly. Other inherited diseases can involve an alteration or a mutation within a gene. So for example, color blindness results when you inherit the faulty gene for color blindness from one of your parents, and that's usually your mother because it's carried on the X chromosome. Some other examples of inherited diseases can include hemophilia, which is a disease which causes you to not be able to clot easily when you cut yourself, so you bleed quite seriously and you bruise easily. Another one is cystic fibrosis that we looked at the beginning of the topic, where people produce thick mucus, usually in their lungs and their bowel, so they have difficulty breathing. And last one is Huntington's disease, which is a tricky one because we don't actually see symptoms of this disease until later in life, usually after reproductive age, and people have already passed that gene on to their offspring. So nutritional deficiencies, so these can lead to nutritional based diseases when people do not consume enough food. So without consuming the right quantity of food, we can have malnutrition, or they eat enough food but not eating the right nutrients, which is undernutrition. And this can lead to a range of diseases due to the changes in the nutritional balance in the body. So one of these is anorexia nervosa, which simply means loss of appetite. And this disease is a psychological aversion to food. Therefore, individuals restrict their food intake. So they're not getting anywhere near like enough food, so they're undernourished. And as we can see from the picture, the symptoms are quite obvious. Another one is kwashiorkor, which is a specific protein deficiency, which is caused when children are weaned off breast milk onto a low protein, high carbohydrate diet. And as we can see from the image there, the child looks like they are getting enough nutrients. However, they're not getting the protein, which helps to maintain fluid balance. So they end up with this excess fluid in their stomach, giving them that bloated pot-belly look. Some other examples of nutritional diseases are scurvy, which is a deficiency in vitamin C, rickets, which is a deficiency in vitamin D. An iron deficiency can lead to anemia, and obviously a deficiency in water can lead to dehydration. Lastly, we have our environmental diseases. So there are many factors in the environment that can potentially cause disease. So alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs can cause things like cancer, liver damage, and other problems, while certain chemicals in the environment can also be potential hazards. So two particular diseases that can occur due to changes in the environment include mercury poisoning. So this usually occurs when industry leaches mercury into water. That water is then taken up by fish. Fish then get eaten by people, and the people then absorb that mercury into their body. And this can lead to the symptoms of paralysis, brain damage, and some other noticeable effects to the nervous system. And secondly, fetal alcohol syndrome. So we can see that little baby there in that picture has some quite obvious physiological or anatomical changes to their face. We also have some symptoms of mental and cognitive delay due to women who are pregnant drinking excess amount of alcohol. And what happens is that passes through the placenta into the fetus and obviously can cause detrimental effects to that unborn baby. Some other environmental diseases can include emphysema, which is brought about by this tobacco smoking, asbestosis, which can be caused by the inhalation of asbestos, which is used in buildings, not anymore, but older buildings contain asbestos, and also skin cancer, which can be due to an overexposure to UV radiation. So we'll be looking at one of these, or you'll be picking one of these in particular to do a secondary source investigation, where you will analyze and present information about the occurrence, symptoms, cause, the treatment or management of a named non-infectious disease. So you can choose one of the ones that have been discussed in this video, or you can choose one of your own to research. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching.